ranking every mainline Nintendo console. We'll just go in order here, starting with the Virtual Boy. I definitely have not had the opportunity to play the Virtual Boy, but just going off of the idea alone and the fact that it was the first VR essentially, I feel like we have to give it some points. So we can't really put it in D tier, I think. From what I've heard, playing it was kind of a nightmare. You would get headaches, and the lineup of games, partly due to how difficult it was to develop for, was not that great. There weren't that many. So the actual experience was probably not that good. But based off of the fact that they were trying something new, which is what Nintendo always does, and they were honestly way ahead of their time creating the first VR, I'll give it C tier. If it was any good, it'd be way higher, but can't give it D tier. Next up, we have the Game Boy. I never really played the Game Boy, to be honest, but I don't want to rate it. Okay, now we've added a new one for haven't tried slash can't rate. Honestly, it's not fair for me to put it somewhere. The Nintendo 3DS. This one's interesting. The 3D on it, honestly, was pretty good. I never owned one myself, but I definitely used it from someone else. And I think it worked, but they didn't add too much to the regular DS. The 3D was the whole point, so it's basically just a regular DS. I'll put it in B tier. Nothing wrong with it. It did work pretty well for what it was, but I don't think that's reason enough to warrant upgrading from the DS to the 3DS. Game Boy Color, same thing. Haven't tried. Now we're getting somewhere interesting with the GameCube. I feel like the GameCube is pretty underrated, but that might just be my nostalgia and my bias talking. This was my first console, so obviously I'm going to be a little bit biased, but it was goated. Having games like Double Dash, Wind Waker is my favorite game of all time, Metroid Prime, so many other amazing games. Came out with the best Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. The controller was amazing. Smash Bros. Melee practically defined a whole generation and is still the best Smash Bros. Even though it came out, I think it was like a year and a half of development time. We have to put the GameCube somewhere high. I want to put it S tier, but realistically, I mean, going off the sale numbers, it wasn't high enough. But how much do we want to put into how much it sold versus how much it should have sold? But it also probably shouldn't have sold that much, to be honest. I'll put it A tier. I want to put it S tier, but I'll put it A tier. The Game Boy Advance. This one I did have. I used it a little bit. There was a racing game on it. I don't really remember. I think it had the characters from Rugrats, maybe? I don't know. I don't remember too much about it, although I did have it, and maybe that's saying something. I'll put it C tier. I'll put it above the Virtual Boy. Same thing with the Nintendo 3DS, where it was sort of just a better Game Boy from what I remember. They didn't add too much. I'll leave it in C tier. The Nintendo 64. This was a good console. The controller, I know that they have the whole you can hold it two different ways thing. It's supposed to be two different controllers depending on the game, but the controller is kind of a nightmare. I know some people love it, but I'm in camp controller not good. With that being said, the actual console itself and the game lineup that was on it was unmatched. The first 3D game with Mario 64, what many people consider the best game of all time, Ocarina of Time. Basically creating 3D fighting games in the format that is still used today, even though it came out back in the 90s, is insane. I feel like we have to give it points. Just the memories of blowing into the cartridge, even though that does absolutely nothing, by the way. Don't blow into the cartridge. It's just resetting it that's fixing it. Blowing it in is just putting your germs everywhere. But this is such a good console. I feel like it's our first S tier. Just from the game lineup alone and what they did in defining the 3D fight genre, and not defining it, but how the camera system works and still used today, we have to give it S tier. The Nintendo Entertainment System. I mean, this one we have to put at least above C tier. It defined games. I think it was the one that was out during the game crash during the 80s, and they single-handedly saved the genre. Not the genre, they saved gaming, brought it back from the brink of extinction. Super Mario Bros., possibly the most iconic game of all time. Watching it, you can really see Nintendo's philosophy for starting a game. And what I mean by that is the player teaches themselves how to play. Rather than having to read text blocks saying how to play, you immediately break the block, you learn how that works, you learn how the shell goes, you learn how to kill an enemy, and it's all within the first 5 seconds, and you teach it yourself. You don't have to read a single thing, and that core concept alone is part of what sets Nintendo apart with all their games. I think we also put an S tier, but behind the N64. just because of what it did for gaming. The Nintendo DS, such a good handheld. I actually lost mine when I was traveling out of state, so that sucked. My core memory of this is sitting on a bus ride for a field trip after school, and me and I think 6 or 7 other people on the bus all had our DS, and we were in the Picto chat talking to each other, and it was such a fun memory. And I remember the teachers seeing that and being bewildered that we were able to talk to each other on our DS, but so much fun. And then the stylus drawing on the screen. The games themselves were pretty good. Honestly, I don't I don't think they were that amazing, but they were good. Mario Kart DS was also a great Mario Kart. There's some other games. I'll put it B tier, definitely above. I'll put it A tier. I'll put it A tier. It was good. The Nintendo Switch. What I remember about the Switch was when I first got it and bringing it home and remembering that I could put it in the dock, see Breath of the Wild on the big screen, take it out, and then continue playing on the Switch itself, which I know is obvious now, but first using that mechanic of switching back and forth seamlessly, instantly between the TV and the handheld was mind-blowing when it came out. So just for that alone, it has to be top tier, I think. There's so many good games. Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Smash Bros, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, so many good games. There's also a lot of random crap that should not have been on there. Like if you go on the game store, they're really allowing everything, but it just worked so well. Man, I don't know if it's either S or A tier. For now, I'll put it high A tier. I think I'll move it up to S tier just because of how it worked and the fact that they came out with some bangers of a game with Breath of the Wild and Odyssey at least. Breath of the Wild might be the best game of all time, a lot of people would argue. Breath of the Wild does what many games try to do correctly, but instead of just doing one thing correctly, it does everything correctly. And I know that this is a console list and not a game list, but you have to include the games and the consoles, obviously, and Breath of the Wild alone brings it up. I'm going to leave it an S tier. I added the Switch 2 because it wasn't on the list, but Switch 2 is the same as Switch 1, just better. They didn't really do anything wrong. I mean, okay, I guess they could have improved a few things. Specifically the UI for the menu, a lot of people think is lackluster. I think it would have been nice for them to update it, make it a little bit better, because it is pretty much the same as the Switch 1, which is fine, it works, it's a little boring. They could have even sold themes, maybe like, $1 each, but, whatever. That's being nitpicky. Other than that, it works great. It's a better screen, better battery, the controller is a bit bigger, works a bit better. I'll put it A tier. I mean, it works. It is what it is. They improved on everything. Didn't make anything worse. It's good. The Nintendo Wii. Oh boy. This one is an interesting one. Coming off the back of the Wii U. Actually, let's do the Wii U first. We'll get that out of the way. The Wii is a controversial one. Nobody bought it. It's the predecessor for the Switch. You could see where they got the inspiration for the Switch. I never had one, so it's unfair for me to rate it. But also, I don't think anyone else really had one. And I think that's not a fault necessarily of the console. I think it's a fault of the marketing. I remember thinking it was just an accessory for the Wii, and I know everyone else thought that too. Mostly because of the name, the Wii U, and no one wants to pay full price for a console that's actually just an accessory. Obviously it wasn't, but nobody knew that. So I don't know if we include the marketing or not. I feel like we shouldn't. Because I never played it, it's hard for me to say. I never even used one, so maybe I put in can't try or can't rate. But if I had to, it'd be either A tier or B tier. But I'll leave it in can't rate. Anyways, with that being said, the Wii. The Wii's an interesting one. It did what Nintendo is really good at, which is innovating, trying something new. They created the motion controls, which both PlayStation and Xbox both tried, although they were not nearly done as well as the Wii. The Wii's motion controls actually, for the most part, worked, whereas the Kinect did not. PlayStation sort of did not. Some of the games were great. The fact that they included Wii Sports, which was honestly a lot of fun. And I'm trying to remember other games. Brawl was a mistake. Mario Kart Wii was amazing. I don't even remember what other games there were. A lot of the games were good, but I feel like the motion control is the whole reason to buy it. Oh, and the backwards compatibility with the GameCube itself was great, especially since nobody had the GameCube, but everyone bought the Wii. Let a lot of people play GameCube games. I think I'll put a B tier. It just needed more games, I think. It could be low A tier, but I'll leave it in high B tier. And the Super Nintendo. This one I played a little bit, but not a lot. It's just, again, a better version of the Nintendo, the NES. Nintendo does this a lot. They'll come out with a new console that's super revolutionary, super innovative, defines the genre, defines gaming, and then the next one's just a better version. And I'm not mad at it. Sometimes that's good. The Switch was just a better version of the Wii U. Switch 2 is just a much better version of the Switch. The Wii innovated, GameCube did not. Nintendo Entertainment System innovated. 3DS, better version of the DS. That's not a bad thing, but it's not very exciting. Although it did have a lot of good games. I'll put it low 8 tier. If I were to move one around, it would either be the Wii up to B tier. Man, I kind of think we put the Switch above the NES. Does that mean the N64 is the best one of all time? Probably. Maybe. I think this is. I can't put the Switch at number one. That's a recency bias. The Wii could be better, higher up. Not better. Could be. Well, it could be better, but it could be higher up. But I think we have to have two in B tier. The Wii could go honestly either way. Same with the NES or the Super Nintendo. For the most part, I'm happy about this. The Virtual Boy I wish could be higher, just because I love innovation. I love them trying new things. Just needed to not give you a headache after playing for half an hour. I need to have games. And apparently the controller was kind of weird, but again, never played it. But anyways, I'm pretty happy about where this is. So yeah, that's my list. Thanks for watching. See ya.